Okay, I'm back. And I have gotten my Jester to level 90 through a combination of Moonbase and Arcane Library. I just did sort of flipped between each of those two until I got to level 90. I didn't get a better Fusion Rift than this one. I also equipped that Pawn Shot just for some stats. Some hero damage. I did get this staff for my apprentice though, which is pretty nice. It is a damage and rate loss from the other staff, but that range is hard to say no to. So yeah, quick go over of the stats. They shouldn't really have changed at all, because unfortunately I didn't get any accessories from the Arcane Library runs that I did. They were basically all trash. And the only one that I did get, I'm not using because it has a massive negative movement speed. Which, yeah, I would like to use this on my auras, but I have negative 180 movement speed or something with that on. So until I get a much higher movement speed stat, yeah, that's going to be sitting in my item box, unfortunately. I can't remember where I started. Eevee, Apprentice, Auras, Summoner, Hermit, and Traps. I also got a few more levels on the Tower Booster and the DPS Monk. But now, the next step is Magus Citadel on Insane. Now, the last time I did this, as in the last time I played on this account to progress, I did it on hard. And that went fine, but let's try it on Insane. So, before we start, actually, I do want to use all the mana that I have to upgrade my Fusion Rift. Because this Fusion Rift is going to be a massive help in killing the boss. Nice. Basically fully upgraded it, and we have just under 1 billion mana left over. Ah, yeah. I forgot how big auras are on Insane. In that case, I think we should only have to place one stack up here. Yeah, that'll be fine. So I do have a build in mind that is going to be sort of towers killing the boss. I'm not going to use DSTs to kill the boss. I'm actually going to use 2 Seed Bomb Towers. Plus my Jester with the Fusion Rift. So, we'll see how that goes. It is completely untested. This map has a special mob type, which is Fireball Towers and Apprentice Towers. And they like to shoot a ton of projectiles. That's the use, that's why I'm making use of reflect beams on these 2 cores here. I think I'm just going to place... just do something like that. Shouldn't matter too much. And then the boss spawns down here, and he's a apprentice. So what I'm going to do... I'm going to place my buff beam like this. Now, I don't think we're going to need any reflect beams at the bottom. Let's get these hermit towers up. I'm going to be doing a spore tower here. Now, I'm not sure if it's essential, because the range isn't big enough anyway, but I'm going to be placing this so it has line of sight into that room there. Again, I don't think that is actually going to do anything because the range is so small, but yeah. And then down here, we're going to be doing a golem plus 2 seed bomb tower, or 3 seed bomb towers. 1 facing that way, 2 facing this way. Also, I didn't realize the timer on this map was so low, so hopefully we might have to do some, yeah, let's just do that for now. And put that there. You should be able to get through the first wave, no problem. Nice. Wait, did I put the... I did put the seed bomb towers down there, okay. Now the rest of the DU is not gonna go down here. Yeah, just making sure, okay. I think I'm just gonna do, let's see. 1 DST like that, 1 like that, 1 like that, and then just the rest in LTs. And now we have 3 DU left, so let's just be safe and put a bunch of reflect beams down. Hopefully this will be a pretty good showcase of how good seed bomb towers are for single target. So, the reason we're even doing this map to begin with is to unlock the survival so that we can get a harpoon pet. This, if you hadn't gotten access to any guardians at this point in the game, which is very unlikely if you had been doing Moonbase and Arcane Library, but this survival also gives guardians on wave 20, I want to say? 25, I think, is harpoons. Or no. 25 is guardians, harpoons is 30? We'll find out anyway, because we have to run the survival, but yeah. You'd get guardians from doing this. But we want to get a harpoon pet, because it makes a really nice DPS pet. And it's going to be really good for Spring Valley, which is what we're going to use to get our next big upgrade, which is the not Mega Chicken, the free range chicken. with a good enough free-range chicken and harpoon pet, you can basically do all DPS content in the game just with those two pets. So that's kind of the strategy. And then, of course, as I've mentioned before, we'll get our mana gathering weapon for our tower booster from Spring Valley. The reason I like using a Jester to do Spring Valley, because we're going to be doing it on Insane, because Nightmare is quite a bit harder, and we don't have the stats for that yet. But the reason why I prefer Jester is because on Insane, weapons do so much more damage and have so much more projectile speed that it makes it a lot easier than doing it with a Monk, in my opinion. With a Monk at this point in the game, you don't really have any good ranged weapon options. So using a Monk with a DPS pet is, in my opinion, quite a bit worse than a Jester with a DPS pet. Just because you have access to the Fusion Rift. Does so much damage that, yeah, it's a lot easier in my opinion. Now this is perfect, the angle I wanted here, where they could shoot down this ramp. Because if they were too far back, then they wouldn't be able to aim down. And I actually have no idea if the golem is going to be enough to keep my towers alive. Because the apprentice could do a lot of damage. Now you could add extra characters in here for the rewards. But I don't really care too much about the rewards. There is an accessory. I think there's 2 accessories you can get from this. A eye patch and a hat. Or is it a monocle? Yeah, it's a monocle and a hat. And I don't really care about either of them at this point. And I don't care about any of the weapons either. I just want access to the survival. So we're just going to do it with one player. I definitely could have done this without the Ensnare aura here. I would cut that if I was going to do this again, or do it for the first time again. Just makes the enemies down here take so much longer to come out and drain the aura HP faster. Nice, we have everything upgraded there. So, I'm not sure if this is enabled by default, but in the files, you can enable an option so that when you press V, it skips the boss timer. So we'll go ahead and press that, and there's the boss. Making pretty quick work. He does a lot of damage with the mana bomb, so you want to get out of range of that pretty quickly. I would like him to come down here, yep. Get in range of the C-bomb towers. Very nice. So yeah, if he jumps off the map, he just teleports right back onto the map. Because otherwise he would just instantly die, and that would make the boss way too easy. But yeah. Got nothing, basically. This is one of the unique weapons that comes from this map. And there's our accessory. So yeah, don't care about any of that stuff. Just want to get access to the survival. So, insane, survival, and as you can see, I've never done this before. I see, so you can start on wave 8. So, this is just my normal survival build that I use even when I'm doing this on my main account. Although, because the auras are so much bigger, I'm not going to be using ensnare auras. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll... Let's see. If I put an ensnare aura here... Or if we shrink it, maybe that'll help. If we shrink it to, like... there. How does that look? Maybe just... 2 ticks of the shrink. Yeah, that's more like it. Oh, this map is so nice when you first do it on survival. It gives you so much mana. Gonna do a similar sort of positioning placement with our towers here. Actually, want to get line of sight again. So, something like that. Let's get our reflect beams going. I'm going to put one there again. It's going to look very similar to the... how do I want to do this? I think what I'm going to do... Yeah, we'll just do what I normally do. So I'm going to put a buff beam from the ground here onto the cannon. And then I'm going to place a LT on this buff beam. I used to do it on this spike instead, but ogres will actually stand here and swipe at it otherwise. Whereas over here they can't path towards it. And we shouldn't need any reflect beams at the bottom. Whoops. Forgot that we don't do any hermit towers down south. I'm going to do some DSTs. One DU left. Just spend it on... Let's just get a reflect beam over here. If I see that the south core is taking damage, I'll move the reflect beam down there probably. Alright, that's the build. Just get everything upgraded, then I'll do the usual... my god, those LTs are loud. I'll do the usual cut to significant wave for this. In this situation, it's going to be when we get the harpoons. So I'll just cut to... I believe it's wave 25. And you really shouldn't have to upgrade more than the buff beams on Insane with our stats. We have 3k stats at this point, essentially. I think just a little bit less on our Apprentice, 2.7k. But as you can see, the ogres are dying fast enough. We are very overstatted. So it can be a bit more lazy. Alright, well, I'll see you when we get the harpoon pets. Okay, so wave 25 is actually the wave that you get guardians, which means that it must be wave 30 that you get the harpoon pet. And as you can see, I forgot to add in characters for the guardians, so nice. Got ourselves a useless squire guardian. So yeah, I will actually be doing a full run through of the survival here. Because on the last wave you get a DST pet, which, while not really being a very useful DPS pet, it is useful for leveling heroes. Because it has a really long range, so you can very easily get the hero damage only bonus when leveling characters. So yep, I will be going the whole way. Okay, so we're on the last wave now. And as you can see here, I had a little bit of an accident because mobs were getting close enough to be able to hit the core, so I added a ensnare aura over there, close enough where it isn't going to impact the spawns down there to slow them down. So yeah, let's finish up the last wave. For rewards that you get on the last wave of maps, you have to have the characters in throughout the whole wave, whereas rewards that you get midway through a survival run, you can add the characters in on the same wave you get the reward. So that's why we have to have 4 characters in. Should probably heal that reflect beam real quick. Yeah, it looks like we might have to do a bit of flash healing. Should probably move my adept there. She's probably aggroing the mage towers to target her. Although with that reflect beam there, it shouldn't be a problem. The tower I removed to be able to place the Ensnare Aura was the Spore Tower. Now in hindsight, I probably should have removed a LT instead. Coming up on the last few enemies here. There we go. And let's take a look, see what we got. Wow, okay. Negative hero damage in AB2, but good base damage. But really bad projectile speed. Okay. Positive hero damage, no HP or AB2 though. That doesn't really matter though, since we're going to be using it on a Jester, so that's fine. Good base, we'll keep that one. Bad base, negative hero damage and AB2 again. Not gonna be worth keeping. Okay. I mean, bad base, but hero damage and AB2, so we could put that on our monk. And the DST pets don't really matter. They're all usable. And we got a mythical genie with negative AB1, which is a shame. Got a mythical ace of spades with a negative AB1. This is a weapon that can that you can use on the tower booster. It's not my preference, but it's definitely an option. If you don't want to bother getting a chicken baller, you can just use one of these. But since we're doing Spring Valley for the free range chicken anyway, might as well. Okay, let's see, what do we got here? Wow, both of these rolled with negative range, huh? Okay. So we can use, which one? This one. Now, because it's on Insane, we don't actually have to rely on the projectile speed as much. Because projectile speed is just heavily, or a lot higher than on Nightmare. So let's see, what does this look like without any upgrades? This one. Yeah, it's already pretty fast. So let's just get it up to... What does 10k look like? Oh yeah, that's already more than enough. $26k, which is going to deal how much damage? $1.2 million DPS. Yep. $14.6 million DPS is going to be very nice. So we are good to go for Spring Valley now. And let's see, we just put this stuff away temporarily. Any of these accessories worth using? Probably one on the EV, right? Well, if I was high enough level. No, actually, neither of them are. And definitely not worth using here because it has negative range. We're not interested in that. Probably worth using on the Hermit and the Summoner, so you can keep both of these for those two characters once we get them up to level 83. But yeah, our Jester is Spring Valley ready, so we'll be running that on the next episode, and yeah, getting some well, not some, probably I'm really hoping that the first free range chicken we get is good enough, because having to run Spring Valley a lot, for me personally, gets pretty draining. So I would like to get it sooner rather than later, obviously. But yeah.